Here we are.
We hooked Kev up a little bit, got him a mic stand. We're making renovations around here. We got a new mic on top of the camera. New angle, new little stand for everything. So we're making upgrades from our sponsors.
Yeah.
Over at Tokyo.
Yep.
I don't know, we don't have any sponsors, but Kev was shit talking me because I couldn't figure out how to get the volume to play back, and I was telling him to take a look over here, and he wouldn't even give it a try. All this stuff I gotta get. I got him he's usually a black coffee man. I got him a pumpkin iced coffee from McDonald's. I figured I'd let him give it a try on the pod.
Pumpkin iced coffee.
Give us a live.
All right.
Give us a live feedback. So go ahead.
You want me to do that now?
Yeah. Mix it up a little bit.
It just looks too sweet right now, I can tell you.
If you don't like it, I'll take a sip of it. Oh, weight room, man.
Well, I didn't want to make a mess all over your carpet.
All right.
Yeah.
It's good though, isn't it?
No. I'm not a fan, man.
Alright, Kev's not a fan of McDonald's.
Nah, just iced pumpkin coffee. It's the
season.
A warm, hot black coffee.
Warm your bones up?
Yeah, I mean, I've been around iced coffee for, you wouldn't believe. I mean, I don't
know where we're going with this. All right.
I don't know who invented iced coffee, okay, but your listeners are probably, or your viewers are probably too young, most of them, not all of them, to remember when iced coffee started becoming a thing. And I'm going to say they're probably going to say in the 90s is when they remember iced coffee becoming a thing.
Okay.
Well, I worked with a guy back in the 80s
okay.
who used to come in to work. I worked at a convenience store, British Petroleum BP convenience store in Columbus, and he used to come in every day, and that first thing he did was, get a cup of ice, pour the coffee in it, and he was the first person I ever saw do that, ever.
Maybe he's the one who created it.
And I don't remember seeing iced coffee commercially for several years after that. He was the only person I ever saw do that at that time in the 80s, and was the only person that I ever knew did that for years and years. And then I started seeing iced coffee coming about, and I was like, well, heck, that's nothing. That's like 10 years old to me.
Yeah.
And
so saw it right when it was starting, huh?
I think he invented it. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I really do. He had to be one of the first.
Well, if he didn't invent it, at least he had the idea.
Yeah, right.
The inventor took it from him.
Right. He was doing it well before I ever saw it sold in a store.
Was that the same convenience store you guys always got robbed at?
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Did you live with a guy, or not live with him, but work? His name was Shaky or something?
His name was Chuck, but yeah, he worked the night shift. He worked from 11 to 7.
So where was your convenience
And it was on 17th and Summit, right off campus.
Columbus,
Ohio, 17th and Summit, and it was right off of Ohio State campus, and I think Chuck got robbed like 20-some times. and he was older. He was older than the rest of us. He was like in his 30s or something, and he didn't like people anyway. So he took the night shift, so he didn't have to mess with people. And Chuck, man, he'd come in and he'd be like this all the time, shaking.
Man, how much would you have to pay to get robbed 20 times and keep showing up to work?
Well, I mean, he just didn't have a whole lot of options. You know, he liked the job, but he got robbed by gunpoint several times, and it was so dumb. I mean, they would lock the doors and stuff, and have a night exchange door, but no bulletproof glass. So they'd walk up, and it wasn't bulletproof glass, so it didn't matter. They'd walk up with a gun and point it at him, and they could have shot him right through the glass because it wasn't bulletproof. It was dumb.
You only got robbed once, didn't you?
Well,
or they tried to.
They tried to rob me, and they tried to take a bunch of beer.
Yeah, that sounds funny.
And there was a...
Give the whole story.
Well, I don't know what the whole story is, but you know, we had a button that you could lock the door.
Yeah.
If you pushed that button, you could lock the door in case, you know, somebody was trying to come in that you know, was threatening you or whatever. And these guys came in, these college kids, and I was a college kid, and they all grabbed 2 armfuls of beer. I mean, they had a whole bunch of beer, like 6 or 8 cases of beer. And, you know, one of them yelled something like, "Yahoo!" And they took off running for the door, and I hit that button, and they just piled up like dominoes. And beer all over the place, and they couldn't get out.
Yahoo!
Yeah. I mean, that was a dumb, you know, it was like, kind of along the lines of dine and dash, but, you know, when you dine and dash, you just kind of leave quietly, but...
This was like a setup plan. Hey, I'm going.
Yeah. Hey,
when the leader yells Yahoo!
Yeah. After we all get our beer, then, you know, Chuck yell Yahoo! And then we'll take off running, you know, when we're all ready. But they didn't realize that I could lock that door with that button.
Weren't they begging you?
Yeah.
They started begging you to let
They
them
did,
out.
but no, I didn't.
I'm surprised you didn't get jumped.
Well, there was somebody else in the store with me working, and they called the police. And when you called the police there, like in that particular store, if you called the police in about less than 2 minutes, there'd be 6 or 8 cruisers coming in the lot from everywhere. I mean, they didn't mess around.
Yeah.
Because they knew, you know, if you were calling the police saying you were getting robbed, like Chuck, or you know, they'd come flying in from everywhere. They didn't take any time to get there. Lights and sirens, and there'd be like 6 or 8 cruisers.
Do you know whatever happened to the kids? Did they go to jail?
I doubt they went to jail. No, they just, you know, they were college kids doing a dumb thing. They got in a little trouble, got their hands slapped, probably had to pay their mommies and daddies probably had to pay a fine or something.
Community service.
Something. They didn't go to jail. No, because they were going to college
like
there.
Damn high school.
And they wouldn't do...
Yahoo!
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, it was funny. Yeah. And now when I look back, you know, it just made me mad because they did it to me. When I look back, I probably could have left them. Yeah.
I was surprised you even did it, but...
Well, it was my job, though, and I just knew I had to drop on them.
Yeah.
And I did it, but now...
They didn't yell Yahoo! They probably been fine.
Yeah. They would have. They tipped me off with the Yahoo, and then they all took off, and I was like, boom, hit that button, and that door locked.
That's one of those, like, you don't want to, and you're just like, come on, man, you gotta hit it, and then you're like...
Well, it just was the moment. I mean, you just had to be there, and it made me mad because they were doing it to me. I mean, it could have been me doing it to somebody else, and it'd have been funny.
Right.
But they were doing it to me, and I was like, nah. I've been there too long. I knew how to... I was pretty calm with myself.
You and Chuck.
Yeah, I felt bad for Chuck.
I wonder how that guy's
He
doing.
shook like crazy. He's probably dead, to be honest.
Was he still working there when you left?
Yeah. Yeah. I worked there for about 1.5 years while I was up there. And, you know, you get used to stuff. I mean, you get used to people coming up all the time. Some guy came up, hey man, I got some nice stereos and TVs out here. You wanna, and I asked him what the price was, and I mean it was dirt cheap. He was selling TVs for little or nothing, and stereos, and it's hot.
Yeah.
So, and just all kinds. There was just all kinds of people coming there, like
Right.
all kinds of people. You met all kinds of.
I can imagine
weirdos
Columbus at a gas station.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Crackheads and everything.
Well,
Imagine.
yeah. Back then it was
Mushrooms,
Back then it was
probably, or-
crack cocaine
Yeah.
was the big drug of the choice back in, or the bad one, PCP, and
Yeah.
that stuff's bad. So you'd get all kinds coming in there, drunks, or come in and buy their booze every day, and buy their their beer and their 40s and
Right.
stuff. It was a different. That's back when I was hitchhiking too.
Yeah.
So there was a lot going on for me back in that time period.
I know, that's what I want to get out there. 'Cause a lot of that stuff's funny. We always, when we were younger, we always thought that was funny.
Well, yeah, it was.
Why don't you run us through your picks? What's your record now? You started
All
off,
right.
what did you start off?
I
3-7?
started off 3-7. I was 30% my first week, which was not good.
Unacceptable.
I kind of bit off a little more than I could chew that first week, trying to go with 10 games.
I want to start off 10-0.
Right, and
Trying
so
to get his record up here and we can track it each week.
so this week I went 2-1, and I had a push. I pushed with Oklahoma State -10. They ended up winning 41-31, but I won. I won with the Auburn Georgia game. Auburn plus 29 I lost that one. Sorry. Georgia won 42-10, and I had Auburn plus 29.5.
And who told you that one was going to be the one you missed?
You,
Yeah,
right?
I mean-
Okay. Yeah, of course. How could I not know that? So
I took Texas -7 also.
I got, well,
It was a nice little easy.
yeah, that one, yeah. I don't like, yeah. Well, anyway, TCU -4.5 at Kansas, and TCU won by 7. And Florida State plus 3.5 at North Carolina State, and North Carolina State won by 2. So I got both of those. So I was 2-1 with the one push, bringing my record to 5-8 and a push.
5-8-1 now. Week 3.
5-8-1. I don't even count that.
You didn't start off that first week.
I know. I don't. Well, I was 30% the first week, and I was 66% this week. So I had to get into it.
Chip away.
Right. So right here.
Here's where we come back.
Here's where we come back. I've got 5 games this week, and one of those games I am going for. One of those games I'm going for the 2-point, the double shock lock of the week.
Alright, so if you.
So it's going to be worth 2.
Okay.
So I'm 6 points up for grab this week. 5 games.
Okay.
6 points. 2
So if
points.
you lose your record would go to 5-10, for example.
Well, yeah.
Win 7 and
If I lost
8.
that game, I'm going to lose 2 points, or it's going to go 2 points in the loss column. If I win that game, it's going to go 2 points in the win column.
All right.
So, starting off with Minnesota minus 6.5 at Illinois.
I like that.
And I'm saying take Minnesota minus 6.5.
Yeah.
Minnesota's coming off a bye. Okay.
Right.
They've had 2 weeks. And PJ Fleck, I mean, he's a good coach. He's legitimate. He keeps them focused. Illinois, they just beat Wisconsin and Iowa, and they're playing well. They just got ranked. Illinois did. But those are both physical games, Wisconsin and Iowa. The word on the street is the quarterback has a high ankle sprain that he's playing with. They don't even know if he's going to play. Apparently the team's banged up and bruised a little bit by the 2 physical games they've just won. This one opened up at minus 5.5. And the last I saw it was minus 6.5.
So the public's taking
And
Minnesota.
I would try to grab it before it gets to a touchdown because it's still going up. Right, the public's.
Would you still take it at 7.5?
I probably would, but I wouldn't go.
Points?
Huh?
By the points? I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you 6.5, but you're saying if it's 7 by
If
the
it-
half a point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that one, Minnesota minus 6.5. You can. I don't think it's going to stay at minus 6.5. Temple at UCF, Central Florida. Central Florida's favored 23.5. So I'm saying Central Florida minus 23.5. Give the points on that one too. And I'm saying play that one up to minus 24.5.
Okay.
Temple's failed to cover away from home the last 7 of the 8 games they've played. They have a horrible offense away from home for some reason. They can't play away from home.
Maybe crowd noise.
UCF is 5-3 against the spread in their last 8 overall. Last year UCF beat them 49-7, and they are 6-0 against Temple over the last 6 games, and 5 of those were over 25. They won by over 25 points.
All right.
So I'm saying it. Last I saw it was minus 23.5, but playable to 24.5.
Okay.
And then jump off. Mississippi State minus 6 at Kentucky.
Oh. I like that.
Mississippi State is a top 25 offense, 3 straight 40-plus games. Kentucky has lost 2 in a row. They're reeling now, and I hate to say it if we have Kentucky fans, but it seems like Kentucky does this every year. They'll come out of the gate, or not every year, but the years that they're good.
Yeah.
The years that they're good, they'll come out 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. Then it starts getting to them. The grind.
That's real too.
The
That air
SEC
raid,
grind.
Mike Leach.
Right, and I guess there's a question on whether Will Levis will even play for Kentucky.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Mississippi State's got a solid defense, and I'm saying minus 6 at the time I did this, playable to minus 7.
Okay.
So I'm saying Mississippi State by a touchdown anyway, or more.
All right.
Stanford at Notre Dame, and I'm not sure what the spread was. I know Notre Dame's favored, but I'm taking the over 53. Last time, I'm saying it's going to be over 53. Last year, there was 59 points in this game. 3 prior meetings between the two, it's been at least 55 points. Stanford games have trended over this year due to bad defense, and they're allowing 32.8 points a game.
Yeah, but Notre Dame's offense is terrible.
Well, okay, Notre Dame's defense isn't great. They're allowing 23 points a game, and Stanford's allowing, listen to what I said, an average of 32.8 points a game.
Yeah, that's awful.
That's horrible. And 23.2 points a game isn't that great. I mean, that's what Notre Dame's is.
Can Notre Dame put that? I don't know.
Stanford gave up at least 40 to USC, Oregon, and Washington already this year.
But think about that. Those are three pretty good schools.
Over 53 playable to 54.
Okay.
So.
Those are three pretty good schools, though.
Well, I know they are.
Onyx.
Oregon.
Onyx. They've turned ship after that Georgia game.
Okay, well, but anyway, Stanford's going to give up a lot of points, and Notre Dame's going to give up some too, and it just, I don't know. I'm going with the over.
All right, give us your two. Is this your two?
This is my double shock lock of the week, 2-point pick.
Let's go.
Washington? No, I'm just kidding.
It's always Washington State, dude. Every day.
I'm just kidding.
He's like, hey, it's Washington State.
I know, but they've done. They've done
every time
well.
they've done them, yeah.
No, this is a West Coast game though. San Jose State -6 at Fresno State.
Okay.
Okay. Fresno State isn't the Fresno State of old.
Okay.
Fresno State used to be someone to contend with, and they're not like they used to be. That was several years ago. Here's another one where they don't even know whether the quarterback's going to suit up, and he's the star of the team.
Yeah.
Haener, Haener.
Mm-hmm.
Haener, I don't know what his first name is. Matt, maybe, or something. But
I don't know.
So, Fresno lost to UConn and Boise, and only scored 34 combined points between the two games. San Jose State offensive line is improving weekly, and their defensive line, now I watched part of one of their games a couple weeks ago, but I haven't watched them enough. But apparently their defensive line is real for for San Jose State. They've allowed 29 points in the last 3 games, while outscoring opponents by an average of 27.
All right.
And they just beat UNLV by 33. So I'm saying this one is -6. So that was, that's what I'm going with, -6, but it's playable to -8.
Oh, all right.
And that is why it's my double shock. That's why,
All right, so what are you going to be after this weekend?
Well, if
5-8-1.
I can hit those 6 games, I'll be 11-8 with a push.
You think that's what you're going to be? That
Why
wouldn't
not?
be bad. Coming up from the dirt.
Right.
Like a phoenix.
Right. Well, 2-1.
I like them all except for the Stanford Notre Dame. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I noticed. Well, think about it. They both have bad defenses.
Yeah, but they don't have good offenses.
You can still score, though, on a bad defense.
They held us to 24. They might not be that terrible.
They played a lot different. Then.
Yeah.
But they're getting back to playing good. They're not bad. But I'm just saying, they're going to score plenty on Stanford, is what I'm saying.
All right, I believe you.
They're probably going to score 40. They'll probably score 40. So if Stanford scores 2 touchdowns, which could very easy happen, then you've got your over.
Okay.
And I think they will score 40 on Stanford.
Probably.
So, you're not leaving.
I like it better when you put it like that. I was
Right.
sitting here thinking.
It wasn't going to be a shootout.
Right.
I mean, I
So
think
you
Notre
would take
Dame
Notre
is.
Dame in the points if it was, say, it was -10.
I can't remember